Welcome. Hello, hello. Working on a Dacite piece that I started yesterday evening. Going to be flint knapping this to make it smaller, thinner. What will it be? Depends on how it goes. It might be a stone knife blade, it might be spear point. We'll see. You're welcome to ask questions. I'll do my best to look up every now and then and answer those. Coming along. Been practicing and getting better at flint knapping. Been working on it for progress is slow, but it's happening. What's my favorite thing about doing this? That's a great question, Clarissa. It's a pretty nerdy answer. I like the connection I feel to the people that did this and thousands and even millions of years ago. It was the way that cutting tools were made most of human history. So we have all this stuff now, all these kinds of tools, all this technology. But for the longest time, this was the height of technology. This is what a group of people needed to survive. One of many things, but one of the main things that they needed to survive. So that's what I like most about it. I also enjoy the puzzle. In order to do this effectively, you have to go about things in a certain order. You have to prepare several steps ahead. And so it's kind of like a multifaceted, jigsaw puzzle. I can't just hit anywhere. It won't go well if I just do that. So I have to plan and prepare, and then I have to be skilled, and I have to get lucky. So there's kind of a lot going into it that makes the result uncertain. And so it keeps it interesting. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for that question. I like that a lot. Okay. So this was a much larger piece. It was kind of a big, blocky, rectangular piece, 4 times this size yesterday. I needed to find a way into all of the edges and then start to give it a shape and then start to thin it. It was about this thick yesterday. So this is at a stage that is often called a preform, which means it's like a blank that a capable flint knapper can turn into something else. As far as my skill level, I call myself an advanced beginner. You can definitely find a lot of people on the internet who are much, much, much better at this than I am. But I enjoy it and I'm learning. Oh, morning, Clarissa. Hopefully we'll see you again. She gets points for best question. I like that, answering that question. So this is called percussion flaking because I'm hitting the piece with an object. Billet, a copper topped billet, hammer stones were also used, and antler billets were also used. This is the easiest on my elbow, so I tend to do the most. So by striking on the top of this edge, I knock off flake from here. And prior to each hit, you've got to make sure things are set up properly, or the flake won't be very long, or you'll break this, or you'll set up problems that you have to fix later. So it's always sort of working a little bit ahead. The next time I have a flake that comes off and doesn't totally break, I'll try to put it back on and show you where it came from. That's kind of a neat way to visualize what's going on here. Got a bit of a problem here. This big chunky section, kind of a big faction. It's got a little bit of a step fracture in it, which is want to stop my force. So I'm trying to figure out how to approach it, how to tackle it without making anything worse. I think I can get to, this is my problem right here, and I think I can hit on my side right here and knock off part of it right there. Wish me luck. Okay, my spot. Mark it with just this so I know exactly where I'm trying to hit. I don't normally do this, but this is kind of an important hit, so I don't want it wrong. And I also want to sort of mark the direction I want the force to go. Okay, so a little mark right there in grease pencil, right there. And I want to sort of direct it that way in order to take that off. Because it's right on the edge, I might be able to get away with this. Support it well. If I don't support it well, I could break it. Take some practice swings. All right. Not perfect, but I got some of it right there. So you see it did go the direction I wanted. I've still got a bit of a problem here, but I can just move over a little bit and do the same thing. And that should work. That first hit, actually, it wasn't exactly where I wanted to hit, but good enough. Hey, No Sage, yes, this is the one from yesterday. Decided to pick it back up, see if I could get it thinner, more like a knife blade. I've got a couple problem areas that I really need to work out, and I'm dealing with one of those right now. Welcome back. Yeah, that was good. See if I can put that back for you. Well, some of it. Yeah, I can put some of it back for you. Oh, it's in two pieces, so that'll work. Okay. So I hit under here, and that is the flake that came off right there. So I'm still got a little bump here, but I'm just working my way over toward it and taking it off little by little by hitting on the edge. So far, so good. It's a problem when you have a big mass like that. You can run into trouble. And that's why I'm a little apprehensive about this particular move. Okay, this one should do it. Gonna practice swing a little bit. And one more. Got it. So we see that big mass that I had right in here, it's gone. So now I can proceed. So that was one of my problems. And I've got another one right here on the opposite side. Maybe I'll focus on that, because once that's gone, then I'm good to go. Yeah, if you end up with a problem and it's too small to work, I mean, basically you discard the piece, and you'll find that. I did archaeology when I got out of college for about 4 summers, 4 field seasons. And sometimes you would find that. You would find a piece on the site that someone had been working on thousands of years ago, and you can tell where they ran into a problem and just said, this is no longer worth my time. No matter how good I am, this is not going to turn out well. I'm gonna start on a new piece. So it doesn't happen, well, it happens to me often, but people who are better at this could probably avoid it most of the time. Okay. So here's I wish I could show you that bit of mass. There, that's kind of a good view. See this big area here? It's got a bit of a step, and it's an extra bit of mass, and it's just gonna mess up the flow of flakes. So I need to sort of address that so that I can sort of move along with more confidence. So same thing, I'm going to hit on the opposite side and try to knock it off. Yeah, I imagine it could have been stressful, but a couple things. Depending on where they were, they may have had access to a lot of stone, maybe. And then the other thing, modern studies of hunter-gatherers have shown that they work far less per week than we do. So, you know, if this was an activity they could do while socializing or around the fire or something like that, they might have had ample time to do so. Nevertheless, I bet it was stressful, because you don't want to invest time into anything and have it come to nothing. Got most of it. So I took off this side of it, and I still got a little weirdness right here. Hello, Francisco. Looks like you're in Argentina. Hello, hello. Hello and welcome. Okay, let's see if I can get that other portion of that problem right there. Yeah, all right. I'm going to mark it just as a reference. Oh, I'm afraid I don't know what you're asking, though I can tell it's a question and you're asking about obsidian. This is called Dacite. I do have some obsidian right here. So it's similar, obsidian, Dacite. Well, no. Empathy toward the long dead people, I think, is very admirable, because I think they get, a bad rap. I think people with before we had all this technology were every bit as capable and intelligent and as caring and as driven as we are. Every bit. But because they don't have the things that we have and that the things that we've come to value, somehow often we think that they're somehow less than. But I don't believe that. Got it. And there's a nice flake that I can show you. So my little problem area was here. And there's the flake. Right there. Let's see, Francisco. Let's see if I can make out your question. Oh, I'm afraid I don't know anything that I can't read Spanish. But I see you're asking about obsidian. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. I can't translate that right now. I'd love to answer your question, but I'm not sure what it is. All right, so things are looking much better. No major problems on either side now. Let's take a look at my edges. Kind of wavy, so I could start working on making those more uniform. Yeah, it's Dacite. Oh, thank you, No Sage. Similar to obsidian. D-A-C-I-C-I-T-E. Dacite. I've said Dacite for a lot of my life, but I think I was told that was incorrect. All right, I want to straighten out that edge a little bit. I'm going to switch to a slightly smaller tool. I love it. I got my own translator here. That's awesome. Good. So I had kind of a knob. See this low area here? It's a good platform. So I hit here, and then that flake came off right there. Working on a stone tool for those just joining. My name's Doug North. I practice ancestral skills. I'm interested in anthropology and prehistory. And so learning how to make stone tools is something that and I've been practicing for a couple years. Still have a lot to learn, but thought I would start sharing it with folks on YouTube. And I appreciate you joining. I've got some longer form videos. I hope those out. Subscribe and like those. You'd be doing me a big favor. Okay. Trying to rack up enough watch hours that I can start monetizing my videos. I'm a long way off. Yes, Doug. Doug did dig. Doug did dig. Yeah. Doug digging. Whoa. I'm hurting my brain. I'm going to stop. Okay. take off some little flakes in order to make these edges a little less sharp, in order to encourage the flakes to travel farther. So this is preparing my platforms for my next round of hits. I got to sort of take a and see if there's a side that's more flat and more round. And I want to work on the side that's more round on this side, which means that I'll be hitting from above here. And I would like this center line to be a little lower. To do that, this is a little confusing. I need to flip it over and take some small flakes off the edge. That will raise that platform up, but from the perspective of when it's flipped over, it will be lower. I don't know if that made any sense, but hopefully it did. Just very small flakes, nothing crazy. Just little ones. I'm not really trying to remove a lot, I'm just trying to change where the edge is and how thick the edge is. Okay. A little more, a little more. It's this kind of preparation, like meticulous preparation, that sets you up for success. Well, I'm glad it made sense today, No Sage. And it's confusing in general, and confusing depending on who you're listening to. I've watched a bunch of videos, and I've had a few teachers, and you know, we're always talking about the edge as and the face of it as being a platform. But you know, from this orientation, I'm raising a platform. If I were to keep oriented like this and hit up here, I've raised it because I've taken off chips down low. But if I flipped it over, all those chips came from here, and so this is lower. So that's the way I speak of it, but I've noticed some teachers online kind of flip that around, and it's very confusing if you're just getting used to it, or if you're really set and thinking about it one particular way. So if you videos, beware of that. They might say, I'm going to raise the platform so I can hit on this edge, when really, really, they're bringing this center line down on the area they want to hit. But so it's sort of just how you think about it and how you speak about it, but you always want to hit below the center line. Hitting above it is a recipe for disaster. And just not a very thin piece, which is almost always the goal. Hey, Devin. Oh, well, thank you for joining. And to your napper, that's about what I am too. It's been very off and on, depending on what I've been doing in my life. And I had to take a very long break to let my ear heal. I was using exclusively you know, traditional antler billets and stuff, and I was using a very poor technique, and I really messed up my elbow for a while. And so I got some advice from a much more experienced napper, and he said, try doing most of your work with the copper boppers, and your elbow will thank you for it. And so far, I totally agree. Oh, No Sage, you talking about Donnie Dust? He's awesome. Ah, modern napper, indirect. Man, I do not have the hang of that yet. I've got this thing for doing indirect, I just I've popped off a few good flakes with it, but I think I'm holding this at an improper angle. I'm really not producing good flakes, so I'm hoping to connect with one of my teachers in a month or two and get some firsthand lessons in what I'm doing, because I do not have it. Nice thin flake for those who haven't seen what this looks like yet. Yeah, Donnie Dust. He was on a loan. He's like bills himself as like the modern day caveman. Great. He's a great flint napper. He uses all traditional tools. Does a lot of other survival related stuff. So I hit right here, boop, and that produced this flake right here. And for those of you just tuning in or who haven't seen before, the flakes that come off are incredibly sharp. They are, as we would say in New England, they are wicked sharp. Very, 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 very sharp. So these are tools in themselves. If you just need a slicing tool, it doesn't get sharper than just the flake that you've knocked off the piece. Nothing I can do to this gets sharper than it is right now. Okay, I'm trying to follow along with your guidance there, Devin. Full rods. What else? I have an Ishi stick. I got this guy. Quite a bit longer. Which I use for pressure flaking, but I suppose this maybe could be for indirect. I don't know. It's kind of, it gives a lot, so I think maybe the oak one is more suitable. I've watched some videos. Hunt Primitive, Ryan Gill. I tried to sort of follow his lead with the indirect stuff. He makes it look easy, but so far I haven't had a lot of luck. And I'd love to, because I know it would take me to the next level. Oh, a full copperhead. Oh, like so. The opposite end of mine. It's like so. Way to find, hey fly, best way to find what in nature? Finished projectile points or tools, or to find the rock? Let me know. Let me know. Okay. I gotta turn this heater off. This is getting a little too warm. Let's see. Losing track of my place because I'm talking. Okay, right there. Set that up. Nice. Native American arrowheads. All right. Well, the best trick I know, I don't hunt for them myself, but as I mentioned a few minutes ago, when I got out of college, I worked as a professional archaeologist for a while. And the best thing I know of is to get permission to walk through a farmer's field right after he had plowed it. Especially if there's been a rain recently. The dirt likes to fall right off the smooth surfaces, and if it's plowed, you know, those plows get, I don't know, deep, right? And they churn the soil up, drop over, and then you just walk, you know, very organized back and forth, scanning. That is the way I know of, but not really. It's not something I really do, so I don't have a whole lot of advice there. You know, especially if that field is adjacent, like right next to a, or falls, right next to falls. Pretty much, at least in the Northeast, anywhere that we've decided to put a bridge across a river where there's a field, that field, because whatever made it good to be a bridge for you know, the later settlers, it probably made that spot good for the people that were living there thousands of years ago. So, you know, a good spot on the river is a good spot on the river. And those tend to be fruitful. That was a nice one. Got to the center line there. My fingers are always in the way. There's the flake. And you see my flake scar got to the center line. Even better if it goes farther, but I'm glad that was helpful, Fly. Make sure you get permission. Okay. "14 people. For those just joining, I'm Doug North. I'm working on a stone tool tonight. This is Dacite. Nice black rock. High silica content. Okay, done that edge. I want to take a little bit off right there. Yeah, just a little tap. Okay, good. And in here. Nice. Give you a close-up progress. I just worked on this edge. A little piece right in there. Do a little freehand-ish thing. Just got this one little piece I want to hit, so I'm going to kind of hold hand to get access to it. That worked. There's the little flake right there. Some people do this technique a lot. Here we go. Let's see. Isn't it cool how they just fit right back in? You are welcome, No Sage. Have a great remainder of your day. See you soon. Thanks, Flaking. That was cool. We had Francisco from Argentina asking me a question about obsidian I couldn't understand, and he read it, translated, and answered for me, so that was great. Has the feel of community out. Okay, I think we're good for now on that side. Okay, just getting this side ready to do a series of flakes over here. Just preparing the edge so that things go as well as possible. It's counterintuitive, abrading the edge of something you're trying to make sharp, but crucial step. Okay, let's see. I think I need to raise that or lower that platform a little bit more. That's how it's done. One piece at a time. Hit here, knocks off a flake on the downhill side, and it leaves behind this flake scar. Yeah, Lobo Pro, you do this, you do have to get back into it. What do you like to work with? So that one, another flake right next to the one I just did. So you can get a feel for it. Whoops. I need to figure out a way to show you this without my fingers being in the way. There's the piece, and there's the flake. Came right out of there. Try one above those two. Yep, small one. Flake kind of brush, so nothing good to show you there. Did this one. So doot, 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 doot. Glass Butte, Oregon. Get obsidian. Cool. Find coral. Oh, from Hunt Primitive. Yeah, Ryan Gill. That's awesome. That stuff's beautiful. I don't think I've ever tried. Beautiful stuff. That's really great. Stop for a look. Got a big delta right here I could get rid of. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of that first. Make sure I break there. Yeah, I end up making a lot of arrowheads because I break most of the bigger things. Got a pile of arrowheads over here. I was also aspiring to use them for deer hunting this year. I tried, but I did not succeed. Ooh, that's making me nervous. Yeah, this is Dacite. Yep. Dacite. Yep. Correct. Have you tried Dacite? Yeah, you've tried a little bit, and you say it's harder than obsidian. You mean more difficult, or like it's tougher? I definitely agree with the last statement. It's not quite as brittle as I find as obsidian, which is very brittle, sharp. So it breaks easily, which is good when you're starting off, you know, trying to reduce a piece. But then when it gets thin, it's that much easier to snap it in half. So I actually prefer working with like Georgian chert. I've got a little bit of, I've got some chert and I've got some Dacite. I just was working on the Dacite last, decided to keep rolling with it. But the chert, you know, you really kind of have to give it a good smack. pluses and minuses to everything. Let's see, I'm going to try working that edge, raise this up a little bit. I just did it. Yeah, orientation, I'm raising it, but when I flip it over, I will have lowered it. It's hard to stay consistent with the terminology. Work on some symmetry stuff, like taking off a flake down here. That helped a little bit. And this corner. And okay. Is that low enough? Not quite. Switch to a smaller billet because I'm working near the tip. I don't want to hit it as hard up here. Oh, let's see. Just found my channel last week from a post off Instagram. Yeah, I've tried indirect expression, but I do not have the hang of it. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing wrong. So I'm hoping to get some instruction from a teacher of mine in the next month or so. Tried it, but I'm clearly not doing it right. And really, I do want to learn because I know it would take me to the next level. Yeah, it's a little asymmetrical, but it's coming along. Symmetry is pretty easy to work on once you have a mind to do so. Let's see what I do here. Thin it on this side a little bit. And then taper this base a little bit. And my tip is going off at an angle, it's kind of curved. Take a little length off and start to make that a little straighter. A little straighter, not a lot. Let's see. I should be braiding. Well, I'm glad you found my channel, Lobo Pro. Yeah, I found some good stuff to watch. I'm really just getting back into longer form content for YouTube and aspiring to put up, 10-minute videos every week or 2 weeks. Work my way into a position where I can monetize a little bit anyway. So I got to get my watch hours up. And these sessions are one way to do it. Not that that's not my primary motivation, but it does help. I'd be out here doing this anyway. So I might as well have some company and answer some questions if I'm able to, and learn some stuff on my own along the way. Yeah, maybe you can give me percussion advice. I've gotten some good flakes on occasion, but not at all consistently. And when I do it wrong, it hurts. And I definitely worry about breaking the piece. And it's kind of tip's kind of fat. If I can fix that. Yeah, that helped. A little bit more symmetrical. So we've been at it an hour. I'll probably just do a couple more minutes and call it good for the day, even though this piece isn't really done. As they get thinner, I go slower and slower because I'm more and more worried about breaking it. Oh, well, thank you for the your thoughts on monetizing on YouTube, because I don't, going to be figuring that out, and I have no doubt it gets overwhelming trying to keep up with it. But I really, really double thank you for the comments about my content. Hey, Matthias, I'm not sure how to say your name. I'm using a copper bopper, or really a set of them, different sizes. It's kind of a modern tool. Historically, you'd use hammer stones and antler billets. I used to use those exclusively, but I've found that my elbow, doing this all day long, or, well, a lot, starts to hurt. So I've switched over to these modern tools, and I'm able to keep up with it. Yeah, antler's really, really traditional. It's a great material. I've got different sizes here. There's my moose antler billet, the big boy. And then this set going from medium to small. And then, of course, for pressure flaking, got a weir antler tine, though lately I've been using copper for that as well, and looking around, here we go, doing pressure flaking that lately. Might do a couple pressure flakes just to give that edge sort of the... Sometimes I think it helps to just sort of make your edge regular and kind of take a step back and, like, kind of say, well, how am I really doing? Like, is this thing, what do I need to do? If I take away all the weirdness on the edge by doing pressure flaking, what do I see? And what does that tell me I need to do next? Just like a little cleanup. Should have braid though. Why is copper better for your body? Is it heavier, or what's the advantage? Good question. I have found that with antler, I need to swing harder. So, you need to swing harder, and then at some point it stops and your elbow kind of takes that shock. So the copper is a little harder, and there's lead inside of this cap, so it's very heavy on the end. So you can sort of just let like the weight do it. It's a pretty good hit. Whereas to this, I have to kind of like make it happen. And it, if you're not, my form was particularly bad some time ago. I was doing something I shouldn't do, and so that really made it worse. But I think you just need to use more force with the antler. And so the copper, the tip itself is harder, and it's heavy because it has lead in it, I think. And then, of course, you've got some shock absorption in the wood and rubber handle. So it's just a good combination of things that kind of a little easier on the body, or so I've found. Smaller. It's coming. It's coming along. Probably shoot for like a knife that I can half to something. Maybe give it as a gift for someone who's interested. My family or friends or something. Yeah, no problem. Happy to give the explanation when I can. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's coming along. Coming along. Kind of chunky, but it's all relative. And I got, a decent amount of width to work with to thin it out even more. I'm probably going to wind pretty soon, and I want to thank all of you who have tuned in, and if you're a returning person, well, double thanks. I really appreciate that. Please check out my channel, watch some vids, subscribe, make some comments. All that stuff is helpful as I try to, you know, get off the newbie platform and into the bigger world of YouTube. I'm working on my next long form video. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. About a little known projectile throwing, not really a weapon, but does throw projectiles. A stone thrower. I've posted briefly about it before, but I'm going to go into more depth about how to make it and the physics behind it. I always like diving into the physics or the principles. Like, you know, that's the level I need to feel like I am something. So it's deeper than some people need, but it's just me. Any last questions out there before we say goodbye for? Again, thank you all so much for visiting. I'm just really thrilled to have you along. Keep me company and keep me honest here, and we can learn together, because that's how this was done. You know, these were the tools for thousands and thousands and millions of years. And how was it learned? How was it taught, and how was it learned? From one person to another. No, it was not over YouTube Live, but it was one person sitting here, a person sitting there, probably around a campfire, passing that knowledge down. Critical knowledge that people needed, tools that they needed to survive day to day. It's kind of mind-blowing to think about that. This was the height of technology for the longest time, for the majority of human prehistory. I mean, right there. I do go to Rabbit Stick. I've been to the last two. I haven't made any plans for next year, but if things go the way they've been going, I'll be there. Yep. What a great time. For those of you that don't know, Rabbit Stick is a primitive skills gathering in Idaho. So it's a week-long event. You go there and you camp out, and during the day, you sign up for different kinds of classes. Classes like this. Classes where you learn how to make stone tools, or you learn how to make baskets, or weave plants to make rope and textiles, or you learn to make primitive pottery using clay from the ground. You learn how to make gourd canteens, traps, learn how to tan hides to make your own leather and buckskin and rawhide. You learn about medicinal and edible plants. It's the knowledge that that every culture used to have, and that many of us don't have anymore. And so it's just sort of a fascinating world of things to learn about, make things with your own hands. And it can be quite empowering if you can learn to grow some of your own food, or learn to start a fire without matches, or, you know, all of these things that people used to know how to do. So check it out online, Rabbit Stick site, and you can look into that. I should be there next year. No plans on teaching yet, but maybe. And if I'm teaching, it wouldn't be this. No, there are some really good flint knappers at Rabbit Stick. I wouldn't dare try to teach. No, sir. I've learned from a variety of people. Matthias, you know, I've got some friends who go to Rabbit Stick, and I've got some others who in the archaeology community, which is what I studied way back when in college. And I read books, and I practice a lot on my own. So some of what I do is probably just idiosyncratic, something I came up with, and some of it is things that I've learned from others or read about. But still learning, still very much learning. Yeah, a long way to go. But, you know, little by little getting better. And, you know, I didn't snap this in half. So I call that a victory. Right? I didn't break it in half. So me, that's good. That's really good. I've got a pile over there of you know, bifaces and points that I broke in half. So any day where I can end with something that's still workable, still heading toward being a tool, is a good day for me. Rabbit stick's a good time. Well, thanks again, folks. I made it. You know, I've been doing this every couple of nights, actually maybe every, but you know, you can expect me out here, 4 or 5 times a week, probably around this same time. And it's going to be pretty much the same thing, but you know, if you don't mind a bit of repetition and you know, watching someone who's sort of, you know, in the middle of learning, well then, you know, come join me and we can learn together. Yeah, you would have broken it for sure. Yeah, I've got a lot of small points for sure. Yeah, that's what things just end up being, breaking them. But yeah, I've got a pile of small arrowheads over there that's just like, I got to make something out of this now that I've broken it in half. But I'm trying to stop more at like this stage so I can appreciate, like, okay, let's get to this stage now. There was a time when I couldn't. Still a good chance that I'll break it down the road, but I haven't broken it yet. All right, folks. Well, please subscribe and like and comment and all that stuff. It does a lot of good for my channel, my budding new channel that well, the channel that I'm trying to get off the ground again for the first time in a few years, and I'm going to get serious about it. So, hope you all have a good night, a good wherever it is, whatever it is where you are. I'm Doug North, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.